Hey everyone, and welcome back. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest economic trends. This week we're going to take a deep dive into a topic that's been generating a lot of buzz, the U.S. job market. Remember that feeling of security we had about it? Well, buckle up because recent data might have you rethinking things. Jobless claims, which is basically the number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time, just took their biggest jump in months. To put it into perspective, first-time applications for unemployment benefits rose to an estimated 242,000 last week, as a significant leap of 22,000 from the prior week, and notably higher than the 220,000 claims economists had predicted. This spike is the largest we've seen in over 4 months, pushing weekly claims, which essentially represent layoffs, to their highest level since early December. Now we know what you might be thinking. Hold on, doesn't weekly data tend to fluctuate? And you'd be absolutely right. Things like holidays, unexpected weather events, and even state-specific reporting quirks can cause these numbers to jump around. And yes, last week did have a holiday and a major winter storm that impacted many states. However, there's another layer of complexity we need to consider: the current wave of government layoffs. While it's still too early to definitively say how much government layoffs are contributing to this spike based solely on the data, some intriguing details are emerging. For instance, Washington, D.C. saw an increase in claims, while nearby Maryland and Virginia actually experienced a decrease during the same week. This raises the question: what's happening in these specific areas, and how will these state-level trends evolve over time? The data specifically tracking federal worker unemployment lags a bit, so we don't have the complete picture just yet. However, early reports indicate that the number of former federal civilian employees filing initial claims was relatively small the week before last. This suggests that the full impact of mid-month job cuts hasn't been fully reflected in the data. And here's where things get really interesting. The possibility of hundreds of thousands of government workers being laid off looms as efficiency initiatives gain traction. The big question is, will this result in a sudden shock to the job market, or will these layoffs trickle in gradually over time? Some economists believe a steady drip of firings is more likely when the impact unfolding gradually over time. This is partly because some federal employees are currently serving out paid notice periods, meaning they won't officially be unemployed for several weeks or even months. So while there's definitely upward pressure on the claims, data experts aren't anticipating a massive immediate surge just yet. But here's the crucial point: even if overall job growth remains positive, any slowdown in hiring coupled with an increase in layoffs will inevitably make the job market more competitive. What does this mean for you? Well, it could potentially translate to longer job searches, more pressure to accept lower salaries, and a general feeling of economic uncertainty. It's definitely a trend worth keeping a close eye on. Now let's shift gears and delve into the potential ripple effects of these government layoffs, because it's not just about the individuals losing their jobs. The impact has the potential to reach far beyond that. This isn't just a government problem, it's an economic one. Experts are raising concerns about potential knock-on effects for local businesses and contractors who rely heavily on government spending. Imagine a chain reaction: reduced government spending leads to less business for these contractors, forcing them to make tough decisions like cutting jobs or scaling back operations. This ripple effect could then begin to slow down the entire economy. In fact, one economist even suggests that we could lose 1/10 of a percentage point of economic growth over the year due to these layoffs and their broader consequences. But let's pause here for a moment and bring it back to you. What does all of this really mean in a practical sense? Even if overall job growth remains positive, this slowdown in hiring and the uptick in layoffs create a more competitive job market. This could potentially lead to longer job searches, increased pressure to accept lower salaries, and a heightened sense of economic uncertainty. It's a situation that warrants careful consideration and proactive planning, especially if you're in a field impacted by government spending or considering a career change. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things economy as we continue our deep dive into this important topic. It's important to note that the February jobs report won't capture the full impact of these recent layoffs because of timing, We'll likely see a clearer picture emerge in the March report. However, even if we see a considerable number of jobs lost at the federal level, it's crucial to maintain perspective. Losing, for example, 200,000 federal jobs would essentially be like losing just 1 month of job growth. It's a significant hit for sure, but it's a one-time impact rather than an ongoing trend. The bigger concern lies in those potential ripple effects we discussed earlier. Think about what happens when individuals who lose their jobs can't quickly find new ones. They rely on unemployment benefits and cut back on spending. This reduction in spending then impacts businesses, particularly those dependent on federal contracts, leading to further job losses or reduced hours for employees. This cascading effect can ultimately put a drag on the overall economy. And let's zoom out and look at the broader economic landscape. While job growth has slowed down and returned to pre-pandemic levels, there's another factor at play. The natural churn within the labor market has also decreased significantly. What does natural churn mean? Essentially, it refers to people voluntarily leaving their jobs for new opportunities. This movement keeps the job market dynamic and allows for growth and adaptation. However, we're seeing less of that now. Fewer people are quitting their jobs jobs, and companies are becoming more selective with their hiring. This slowdown, in turn, makes it tougher for unemployed individuals to find new opportunities, intensifying the competition within the job market. But it's not all doom and gloom. Economists still anticipate employment growth to pick up from January's figures, which were likely impacted by seasonal factors, wildfires, and weather events. The general consensus is that the U.S. added around 160,000 jobs in February, a notable increase from January's initial estimate of 143,000 jobs gained. While this projected growth is encouraging, it's essential to remain vigilant and adaptable. The job market is of a constant state of flux, and understanding the nuances of these recent developments is paramount. So, what can you do to navigate this evolving landscape? Well, first and foremost, stay informed. Keep a close eye on the latest economic data and expert analysis to understand how the trends we've discussed might be affecting your industry or desired career path. Second, be proactive in your job search. Don't sit back and wait for opportunities to come knocking. Actively network, refine your resume and cover letter, and tailor your approach to specific companies and roles. And third, be adaptable and open to exploring new possibilities. The job market is constantly evolving, so be prepared to adjust your skills and consider opportunities that might lie outside of your initial comfort zone. Remember, knowledge is power, and staying informed can equip you to confidently navigate the uncertainties that lie ahead. So here's a thought-provoking question to leave you with. If you were advising someone entering the job market right now, what would your top piece of advice be? The U.S. job market is showing signs of weakness, and government layoffs are certainly playing a role. While it's too early to predict a full-blown recession, it's a situation worth monitoring closely. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay informed about the latest developments in the economy. We'll continue to bring you the insights you need to navigate the ever-changing world of work.